Woman we're going to talk about here is Gabriella Cook Finley. Now, I don't have a picture of Gabriella, just her tombstone, sadly, from Krum Jackson Cemetery. Gabriella and her husband, Link, sold the 200 acres to the Gulf, Colorado and Santa Fe Railroad for the town of Krum. During this period of time, now, I don't know, if this is something they discussed, if Paul Finley said to Ma Finley, do you think we ought to sell 200 acres for a town? I don't know that they discussed it, but what I do know is that her name was on the deed, and she had to sign the deed along with him, but she didn't write. She had to do an X. And then during this period of time, the 1800s, when a woman signed a legal document, she had to declare that she was not swayed by her husband in any way to sign the document. So before she placed her X on the dotted line, she had to say that the said G.M. Finley, wife of L.L. Finley, who having been examined apart from her husband, and having the same fully explained to her, acknowledged such instrument to be her act and deed, and declared that she has willingly signed the same for the purposes and consideration therein expressed, and she did not wish to retract it. So she signed her little X to that. Okay, so the next woman I want to discuss here is Annie Chance Ghost. Now, Annie's husband, Dr. J.C. Ghost, was the doctor in Krum for 47 years, from 1898 to 1945, delivering over 5,000 babies. And who was there with him? His right-hand woman, his nurse, his wife, Annie. I'm sure she was probably there for all the babies, as well as any other procedures or anything that he did. Annie Ghost studied art in St. Louis while her husband was in medical school, and she taught art classes in Krum for many years. Our next woman here is Ms. Ruth Knox Hilliard. Ruth worked at the Farmers and Merchant State Bank her father, A.H. Knox, founded in 1909, now the Krum Heritage Museum. She worked at the bank from 49 through 74 as vice president and cashier. She was never the president. Her brother was the president, but she never was. I can say the Knoxes sent all of their daughters to college. They all attended college, so that was pretty neat. So Ruth was fearless. She was at the bank there were 5 bank robberies at Krum, and she was there for 4 of them. She was locked in the vault on several occasions. She had a gun pointed at her on 2 occasions. The 1959 robber also made her sign the hold-up note. I'm passing the hold-up. So he made her sign the hold-up note. Okay by banker and teller Ruth Hilliard. The 59 robber said when he handed her the hold-up note and she was getting the money, he said, "She scared the living daylights out of me. I thought she was going for a gun." She's fearless. Ruth graduated with honors in 1924 from the College of Industrial Arts, now TWU. So there you can see that hold-up note where we kind of laugh at this note. This poor guy, he went to school at Krum. I'm not sure about his spelling. He did go to school. He says, "This is my security is my good looks." And then be quiet, which we know he spelled quite right. But anyway, he was very organized in his. But he didn't make it very far. He got the grapevine to get gasoline and got picked up by the cops. He didn't get very far. So the next 3 women we're going to talk about are women who had elementary schools named for them. So of course we're going to start out with Miss Dyer. Miss Dyer attended and graduated from the Krum school system and later North Texas Teachers College. She first taught at Garza, Lake Dallas, when she was 17 years old. In 1923, her father died, and in 1924, her mother died. And she had in her care 2 younger siblings that she had to take care of along with working. Despite that, she continued teaching in the winters, and she attended college in the summers, eventually earning a master's degree in education. In 1937, she began her teaching career at Krum, where she taught for 36 years. In addition to teaching, she ran a farm, and she had a weekly egg route into Dallas, where she was known as the Egg Lady. Hattie Dyer School named in her honor. Okay, next we have, everybody's called Kathryn Dodd. The Dodd family came to Krum in 1941. Bud Dodd opened a grocery store next door to the bank. Blanche was very involved in community and school activities. She was the greeter at the Krum Methodist Church, and she worked at the Krum Public Library through the Green Thumb program for many years. She kept score for the Krum High School basketball teams for over 25 years, riding a school bus with the kids. She and Hazel Linus, Benny's mom, and she loved every minute of it. She only missed one game in her 25 years, a school named in her honor. Next, we have Ms. Dixie Hansel. We just named a school for her. I didn't have the honor of knowing her. She was born in 1940 in Tallahassee, Florida. She began teaching kindergarten in Krum in 1972, following her graduation from Texas Women's University. She retired in 2011, and in 2024, a school was named in her honor. So, Dorothy Rankin McDaniel. Dorothy and her husband, William, or W.H., were married on the Bride and Groom Show in Hollywood, California. The Bride and Groom Show ran from 1945 to 1950, and each episode featured an engaged couple who were married during the show. After their marriage, making Krum their home, Dorothy blazed a trail for women in Denton County. She was the first female school board member for Krum ISD, the first female bank vice president for University State Bank. In addition, she was administrator for Westgate Hospital, city secretary for Krum, and later for the city of Double Oak. And some of her relatives are here tonight. Her nieces, right? Right. Okay, Billy Letty Foster was a businesswoman. She and her husband, Bill, were founders of Foster Saddle Shop, opening in 1966, serving as one of Denton's premier Western apparel stores for over 50 years. Bill learned leather and saddle work from Billy's father, Frank Letty, in Fort Worth. I don't know if you've ever heard the Letty quote. Their custom saddles were shipped all over the world. When they expanded their Western wear store in 1973, they were the largest Western wear store in Texas. Both were strong supporters of 4-H, FFA, Rodeo Association, and the North Texas State Fair. Della. Della Isbell Davis. If you didn't know Della, you missed out on something. She was quite a character. At an early age, Della started collecting Krum pictures, memorabilia, and stories. At age 16, she saved from old glass plates from going to the dump. These were pictures from Edison Mounts, who was a Krum photographer. Her dad was taking them to the dump after Edison died, and she saved them. They would become some of the most cherished pictures of Krum and the Krum community, and are now on display at the Krum Heritage Museum. Della attended probably every garage sale that was held in Krum, and she was known to dumpster dive to get items she didn't get at the garage sale. She wrote her first book about Krum in '76, Krum, Texas, A Story of a Small Town. In 2006, she wrote her second book, The Heritage Gallery. In 2011, co-authored the Arcadia book with George Hubbard. In 2017, co-authored the Krum Family's book with me. Della opened the first museum in Krum in the 1980s. In later years, she became the heart and soul of the Krum Historical Society and the Krum Heritage Museum, when opened in 2010, serving as its historian. Room named in her honor, Della Davis Memorial Room at the museum. Martha Lamb Dickey. Do any of you know about now the National Organization for Women? Do you sound right? No. Okay. Martha Lamb Dickey was born in 1943 in Dallas. She was the daughter of Homer Lamb, who along with his brother Ed Lamb ran Lamb Grocery, which was in where Cowboys Restaurant is now from 1907 through the 1960s. Martha attended Krum schools, graduated from Denton High, and then graduated from the University of Texas in Austin in 1965. Now, the National Organization for Women was the grassroots organization of the women's movement dedicated to fighting for women's rights around the world. Martha was the first Texan to be elected to an office of NOW. She was on the National Board of Directors of NOW and was also state president of Texas NOW. In Philadelphia at the 1974 National Conference, she was elected vice president of National NOW in charge of finances and fundraising, and established a direct mail fundraising that is still in use to this day. In 1976, when NOW moved its national headquarters from Chicago, Washington, she moved from Dallas to D.C. to help with the transition. She still lives in Washington. In the 70s, she attended law school and was a criminal defense attorney in D.C. for 35 years. Jane Bunker Short. Jane, class of 1970, played for the Houston Hurricanes football team from 77 through 79, the center and long snapper. The Hurricanes were a professional full-tackle women's football team founded in 1975, and they're included in the 2022 book titled Hail Mary, about the history of the National Women's Football League. And the Hurricanes are also featured in a documentary now showing on Amazon Prime, which is advertised. The Houston Hurricanes were a part of the first women's full-tackle league in the 1970s. Their unknown story is one of commitment, courage, and strength. Despite adversity and hardship, they fielded the team purely for the love of the game. What they started as a movement that is still in motion today. Krum was incorporated in 1955 and for 51 years had 10 male mayors from 55 to 2006. Then in 2007, Terry Wilson was elected the first woman Krum mayor, and she served till 2014. Rhonda Harrison, of course, is the current mayor, was elected in 2023. Jenna Renault. Former Lady Cat Jenna Renault has a great story to tell from playing basketball as a Lady Cat and beginning her basketball officiating career in basketball about a year after high school, climbing the ranks at the college level, then the professional level, then the WNBA, NBA, and FIBA, and into the Paris Olympics. As of October 2021, there were only 5 full-time female NBA officials, making Jenna's accomplishment to referee at this level even more astonishing. In 2023, she was one of only 3 women referees to officiate the FIBA Basketball World Cup. FIBA is the International Basketball Federation. You see her on TV a lot. She's Quavey sisters. Sophia, Hooley, and Grace grew up in Krum, and their band, where they play the fiddle and sing, performed all over the world. After briefly studying classical violin in 1998, the sisters switched to fiddle when they attended the North Texas State Fair in Denton. They perform a mix of progressive Western swing, jazz-influenced swing, country, Texas-style fiddling, and Western music. They performed with such greats as Merle Haggard, George Strait, Willie Nelson, the Nitty Gritty, say that real fast 3 times. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Ray Price, Connie Smith, Marty Stewart, Ricky Skaggs, and Casey Musgraves, just to name a few. So these are my picks of Krum women and their influence on Krum society. So now we can do some drawings. Okay, do you want to draw for a certain thing or just pick something? Does it matter? Okay, let's draw for, let's do this one. Do you know what drawing? What's the matter? Oh. Ann Davidson.
Well-
Y'all have one of them?
Probably.
I do now.
Okay, let's draw Arcadia. I guess you're, oh, you want me to? Here, you just hold that and draw. Okay, the Arcadia, just read the name. Spivey, please. Do you have one of these? I don't think so. Okay. Oh, all right, let's do the heritage. Yeah. You're the one. You have it, I'm sure you. Okay, Family's book, from Family's book. Oh,
Right over your shoulder.
she's clapping. Okay, and then let's do a mug. Nice heavy mug.
Larry Davidson.
Oh. Does anybody have a little grandson?
I have one you needed.
He has one in his bag. No. Okay, that's it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it. If you have any questions?
I like the one where Ruth.
Huh?
I like the one where Ruth was bank robbery, the one we have at the museum. And they brought the guy back out for her.
Oh, yeah. I should have included that picture.
Yeah, I said that is so unusual.
Yeah, we have a picture of Ruth and Margaret Sluter standing behind the teller cage and the robber standing in front of them. He came back to, we have that picture. Yeah, I wish I'd included that on the picture board with her.
Yeah. Yeah, you're at the museum.
All right, that's it. Thank y'all for coming.
Very good.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love his hold up note. It's kind of.
Yeah, that's.